I was saying that I don't know how linked we are in the mind, because I thought about the tiny homes back in 2018 or 2017 when that crisis was happening. So nowadays, um, like I'm thinking about what current events are going on to distract myself from not being housed where I want to be housed, or where I could grow plants in the yard that will make me feel healthier. Um, so I'm trying to just cope with my um, just living in tolerance and living in forgiveness, since being a child it's extremely worrisome. I'm holding back tears because they always preach forgiveness and tolerance. But come on, all my life, please, when can I be set free? Yeah, and relied on authorities to permanently separate me from the burden of those men claiming me as family. And then I'll just good behavior. Eventually, I'll get away from them. My good behavior simply makes people feel like, well, you don't have the guts to kill them yourself. Why should we kill them for you? Well, how else can I get away from oppressors if I don't have the permit to free myself from them? And when I can't convince society enough to view me as an individual apart from them when I asked for help, and like they help other women who are single mothers, they decided to help them because they're mind readers. That yeah, that's because they were born on this side of the border, because they're mind readers, or because they crossed the border with other people that said, oh, no problem, we immediately give you, the good status. So all of that is really related to the indifference in my brain. And so I'm grateful for this app, because um I'm not on this app like trying to be fake, because I don't have time for fake. I've never had time for fake ever since I didn't die when I was 16 years old taking that LSD. There's a solution to how badly this world had hurt me, even though I was that young. I don't have time for deceit or trickery. I only think to the best of my ability. How do I, without aggression, without harming myself nor anybody else, get through my day, through my week, through my month, through my year, through my life? And so that's how I had plotted. I keep repeating myself. I had only plotted to be in USA until 2018, after fulfilling the responsibility requirement of a good parent according to the law, and according to the law of love in my heart. I had just had to consider, where it's already established this law, that if since I had called attention about myself, about yeah, no, my views were not really in accordance with USA law. So I was eager to leave. However, I was held here till I was 18, I was told. But then after my son was born, I agreed, okay, I live by the law here in this land that I disagree with until 2018. I'll be good. I won't do anything that they consider reproachable or sin or crime until 2018. So in 2012, with the mental illness, my son's dad was hurt. His head was hurt, and that was not my choice. And all I could think of words to explain is what I was sleeping, and I was not thinking to do that myself. So we're within that being sleeping, that opens up a many topics that I didn't cover during the trial because I missed my trial. I should have had my trial. If I had gone to the trial, I would already have a better housing arrangement. My son would have a better housing arrangement. Everybody would already have moved on past the moment of schizophrenia that they created in 2011, starting in 2011. So, not giving me the chance to like tell on them back then, doesn't postpone the fact that they have been bad. Of the tolerance I've been living in, I was saying that living in forgiveness all my life is very wearisome. Living in tolerance all my life is very wearisome. So when I'm relaxed in the moments that I'm nourished enough to be grateful for the moment of serenity that I have, now that the tolerance has been so extreme, I must utilize that time to promote my necessity to alter the housing arrangements. What males are allowed to enter or exit the property. That being the main point is only why the Ruiz brothers could enter or exit the property because they put their name on the property. Because people feel as if that's what they gotta live by. Whoever has the name on the property wants to have a say about what goes on the property, but the way that those males get themselves in that position is what I'm calling attention to. That has been great injustice in my case when they have this property simply from latching on to my family. So my son with me should say what other males, if any, we must share the property with, instead of keep on tolerating them imposing themselves on us. So at my trial, I could not say this, because I didn't have a trial. I immediately um, got in touch with the lawyer, and everybody thought best not to listen to me, nor to look at my evidence, nor call up my witnesses. That I would have called up, Dr. Guntapali. I would have called some people from the high school that I attended, Sherrock High School, possibly some of my peers from Royal Oak to the stand. Would have had my clay statements that I made in 1998, 1999. So, so my housing will already be established. My coitus life, which is the main motive for the schizophrenia, that would have already been resolved. And so I'm doing my best to keep myself in the moment, like in the present. Okay, so current events. Tried to feel enough gratitude for this space, even though it's warm, because I could use this space to make this recording, to reach out for arrangements for as I've already explained. So, my character, if my living conditions were okay, if that weren't a pressing issue, I can easily occupy my mind with other mundane things like current events that I never before felt compelled in any way to give attention to the soccer sport. But I just feel terribly lonely and eager to feel a member of a nation that is not condemning me for the behavior that they themselves are imposing on me. Where I would be greeted properly without hindrance because the behavior is expected, not looked down upon, nor shamed, nor unwanted. As the constitutions differ because of the difference in the brains. In order for me to achieve that equal man status, I must rely on words. I'm the only human species in this world that must completely rely only on words to navigate through life, to communicate with others. So when the majority rely also on that third eye, or on that, you know, their ability that they have with their mind to look beyond the exterior skin, someone's someone's being, um that's how I'm feeling a great connection or nationality to the country as is presented to me in written form, because those are the manners in which we have in the past always entered treaties with the different kinds. Is after they teach us writing, so they make treaties in writing that are, at least for some time, accommodating enough in our two differences in our ways of life and what we'll trade, or the space that we'll occupy, so that there isn't any conflict. And so in that manner, I was feeling very heartsick, I guess, for actually physically being on that terrain across the border while the soccer games were happening. And so I was just really emotional, um, about my own mental stability and how I'm relating to what a territory is in writing, how the writing that governs a specific territory, can influence the friendliness and the the hate, the friendliness and hate. Um, so simply, saying, "Oh, from this line of land onward," or "from this line of land," like this or like that, and simply go about enforcing those written treaties is an easy way of life for many that is devastating to those who cannot really think in what political situation they find themselves in. So I I can't help but want Spain to win. I don't know if they already won, because nationality, those sports teams are about, I guess, ancestry and about genetics. So the Spaniards are the ones who mostly claim that they you know um, made babies with the non-mind readers there in Mexico, and so we have our nation of non-mind readers originally, and now I feel as if I'm the last real non-mind reader in my nation, and that is possibly true. Now they're calling me because some people are harmed by social media, and they're doing a lawsuit. And I think that my son is harmed by social media, to the extent that he doesn't want to file against the social media, um, because the social media itself is influencing not to. Um, um, but I think he suffers from severe anxiety, and I want to take their phone call and see if I can file for him without him consenting, even though he is the age limit that they're taking that lawsuit. Um, because why not? He really did receive psychiatric care when he was a minor, a young teenager, and he was psychologically affected by those uh, those apps or those social media venues. So uh, I don't know. That's that's why the phone was vibrating, and now I'm gonna hang up this video. Talk to, I don't know who. Excuse me. So there are two videos like this, but I'm just talking about what's going through my mind, how I've been coping. Thank you for caring. Thank you for listening. Yeah, um, yeah. Hopefully, I'll get a good response. Um, Somewhere. Um, yeah, because from my perspective, seems easy to just go to Mexico. My son says no. He terribly hates me for suggesting that, but he doesn't really present an alternative. And he hates me. He sincerely hates me sometimes, and then he doesn't. And like I don't know how to affect his. I don't know what influences him because his dad's Caucasian. I am a non-mind reader. Um, Sometimes um he's just completely unavailable, to me about planning for anything, and so uh, I don't know how to ease the pressure from the people around who are I guess people that I'm maybe um maybe I'm gonna talk to some of them later. I don't know, because sometimes I feel as if of the few around now that remain, my son should recognize some of them. My mom, my sister, like they should, or like the neighbor should recognize another one. So like by now, the small group around me, they should all pretty much recognize one another, even if I only recognize like 4 or 5 of them. Like each of them recognizes 2 or 3 others. So that's how I feel that I'm surrounded nowadays with somebody that I know who knows somebody that gets involved in the drama from a distance. And I don't know, we're all waiting for whatever we're going to do, which is I don't know what, because I only do what I say I'm going to do with somebody if I don't get sick, um or if what we said we would do was something that I was being coerced into doing. So and uh, yeah, because like when I went on the date, um I didn't say I was going to be intimate with someone, uh but then we were, either with a weapon, or because he had a weapon, or because he, like, I don't know, charmed me enough, or I was scared enough from the schizophrenia to do the act, thinking that I was gonna save our lives. And then, but when I did that in 2012, and then some girls down the street, they said, "Oh, that's sad though," because they basically said that the threat is not real, and that they're just messing with my head enough to scare me, to make me have intimacy with someone for free. And so like they were scamming me through fear. I was just like a dumb scared someone because I was dumb enough to listen to Dr. Guntapali's suggestion. And so that's why they could only scare me into having coitus with someone only one time, and that was not verbal agreement. Like I was I was afraid. I was not myself. I was um being um guided by like demonic voices. I don't just That's how I was visualizing them lately, like those emoji demon faces jumping up for the frosting of the white wedding cake. Like, imagine the bride and groom on a wedding cake, and the top of the wedding cake has little demon faces that are like, trying to reach up from underneath. So that's a symbol, I think, of what has gone on, what has happened in my life, because since I was, yeah, I've been, all my my intimate moments have been on film, even though they didn't tell me until I'm 43 years old, and I tried to think about why is my life like this, so I comprehend that they're all spy cameras always filming me intimately without asking my permission. And so the last video they have of Finney is a 10-year-old video where if I was with anybody new, that was 10 years ago. And I already spoke about the abortions from my son's dad, 2019, 2020. And so the point being is that people use that as a basis for housing, because, some sort of intimate contact trade. And so that's when they only talk to me about that if it's a wedding topic, because they're like, well, that's how we trade with you. That's how we agree with you about how we're not going to bother you, is if we give you God's blessing on your union with whatever male. And so they're like, well, you messed up